this is the brand new Sony ZV-1. It's a great little vlogging camera, hence why I'm vlogging this part of the video. But it's definitely aimed at vloggers, YouTubers, content creators, and it's just super easy to use. There's loads of stuff in it which makes this just very easy to go out and vlog without having to buy loads of extra stuff or worry about different issues that might come up. Case in point, I'm actually using this with a built-in microphone right now, something I would never ever normally do. It actually comes with a little windsock, but the microphone is so much better than you would expect, and it makes it super easy to just head out and vlog much like this. So of course you've got video specs in the camera that you would probably expect at this point. So 4K up to 30 frames a second, Full HD up to 120 frames a second. That gives you nice crisp 4K, and it gives you nice smooth slow motion. In fact, if you like slow motion, there's a high frame rate mode as well, which will go up to 960 frames a second. Ooh, so you can capture some really fast action if you want to. Now the actual lens attached to the camera is a 24 to 70mm. That's full frame equivalent, and it's f1.8 to f2.8. So it's really nice and bright. It's going to let lots and lots of light in. Now that's obviously a great all-rounder focal range. 24mm is obviously quite wide, so you can, perfect for vlogging, but you can get nice landscape shots and stuff like that, but absolutely perfect for wandering around and vlogging with this camera, and then punching into 50mm, 70mm for things like portraits or closer up shots or any kind of B-roll that you might want to get. It's just a very good all-rounder focal range to be able to use. Now there's a few things that really stand out with this camera. The first one I want to talk about is the Sony Eye autofocus. Now you're probably used to hearing about this by now. If you've used Sony cameras, you'll know just how good it is. But this camera's got the real-time eye autofocus and the real-time tracking. And that means that as I walk along right now, I can see myself on the little screen. There's just a little square around my eye. And as I move around the screen, it is just tracking my eye around the screen. And if my eye for some reason gets lost, it'll track my face, and then it'll move on to general subject tracking, and then as soon as the face is back, it'll go to the face and then back to the eye. So it's super awesome. It means I never have to think about focus. It makes it really easy to vlog, selfies, portraits, anything like that. If you've used Sony cameras, like I say, you know just how good this is. Now it works with 315 autofocus points, and it's a really fast hybrid AF system. Now, as I said before, that's probably something you would expect from a Sony camera at this point. They've really nailed the autofocus on their cameras. It's just really, really good and really, really reliable, but it just makes this really easy to use. And that's a theme running throughout everything in this camera, is just ease of use. If you want to just get set up and go vlogging, shooting anything else, this is going to be really easy. But something else which is in this camera, which I think a lot of people are going to be very happy about, I was super excited to see it was in here, is a built-in ND system. And that is huge. That is something loads of people have wanted for ages in other cameras that are kind of vlogging cameras. It makes a massive difference to what you can do, especially on a sunny day. And it changed what I was able to get with this camera. It made a huge difference. Now, if you're not familiar with ND systems, it's a neutral density filter. Essentially, it's a little bit like sunglasses for your lens or for your camera. It's going to be a kind of a dark cover that just reduces the exposure. Now, why would you want that? Why would you want to darken that? Well, when you're shooting video, generally you want to have your shutter speed set at double whatever your frame rate is. So let's say, just for the ease of maths, let's say you're shooting at 25 frames a second, you're going to want to have a shutter speed of 1/50th of a second. And going higher than that is going to introduce a different kind of look to your video. Having it double the frame rate is going to make it nice and kind of smooth, and the motion blur is going to look the best, or at least what we're most used to. Now you might also want to use a nice wide aperture, so something like f2.8, so you're getting a bit of a blurred background behind you. And that's absolutely fine as well, but the problem there is that on a sunny day, on a bright day, you are now letting in loads of light, and you're probably going to have a massively overexposed shots. That's where an ND filter comes in really handy, and especially for vlogging, for shooting video, this is super handy. So having it in the camera, you can just turn it on with the click of, I think, 2 buttons. I think you can go to the FN menu, navigate to the ND, and then just turn it on. Super quick, super easy, and it absolutely is going to save your footage. It's going to save everything. It's super handy to have in the camera. So this is with the ND filter on. Now I'm not going to change any settings, but I'm going to turn that ND filter off, and you'll see just how much of a difference this is making. So keeping all the settings the same. This is with the ND filter off. You can see just how unusable this footage is. So out on a super sunny day like this, the ND filter is absolutely just vital to capturing the kind of footage I want to get. Now, something else which really stands out on this camera, and you've probably seen it already while we've been talking, because you can probably see the windsock on top, is actually the built-in microphone. It's not something I would ever normally talk about because it's just not something I would ever even consider using. But in this camera, that is different. Sony have actually massively improved the built-in microphone on this camera, so it actually sounds decent. And they've included this windsock with it as well. And that may not sound like a massive deal, that may not sound super exciting, but actually audio is such a huge part of what makes a video good, about what makes a vlog good. You can kind of forgive missing focus for a second or shaking the camera for a second, but bad audio ruins a video, and bad audio can be very, very difficult to correct in post. So having a decent microphone actually on the camera, as well as a windsock to get rid of all that wind noise, is a big, big deal. Now, of course, there's a mic jack on the camera, so if you do want to use an external microphone, of course you can. And generally speaking, using an external microphone is probably going to give you the best results anyway, because it's a dedicated microphone. But this is definitely good enough to use. And that means that, again, talking about ease of use with this camera, it means you can just pick up the camera and you can just head out the door and start vlogging. You don't have to think about attaching a shotgun mic to the top of the camera, or attaching a lavalier mic to yourself, or batteries for your microphone. You can just go and do it, and you know you're going to get good results. So I would never normally use the built-in microphone on a camera. I'd always use an external mic, whether it be a shotgun mic on the camera, a lavalier mic attached to me. But with this camera, Sony have really improved that built-in microphone. It actually comes with a little windsock as well. So I'm not getting any problems now with the wind around me. I'm using the built-in microphone for this part. I'm using it for all the vlogging parts now. And I think it sounds decent. I think it sounds really definitely good enough to use pretty much all the time. And that makes it super easy. And like I've been mentioning, there's definitely a common theme with this camera about ease of use, especially if you're a vlogger or content creator of some kind. Having the microphone be good enough to use means I can just go out and vlog with this camera. I don't have to think about another microphone, batteries for that microphone. I can just head out the door and start filming. And that's really, really nice. That takes a lot of the pressure off having a bag. I mean, I don't even have a bag with me. I've just walked out here with this camera, with the mic on it. Ideal. That's what I want from a vlogging system. Now, this camera's also got better skin tones, enhanced color, just so you're getting a better image with the camera. It's also got a face priority auto exposure. So if you want to use it in a full auto mode or auto ISO or anything like that, it's going to use face priority for how it exposes the image. That's great for vloggers. It takes all the thinking out of exposure, and then you've got all the thinking out of focus as well. So all you really do is have to hold the camera. And even that is made easier by the image stabilization. It's got fantastic image stabilization in it, which means that I can walk around like I am right now, holding the camera, and not have to worry about camera shake, not have to worry about, you know, whether the image looks any good, whether it's usable when I get back. I don't have to do anything in post-production to smooth things out. It just looks good. Now, the camera itself obviously has this big, bright touchscreen. It takes up pretty much the entire back of the camera here with just a few buttons over on the right. It's nice and big, it's nice and bright. It's easy to use, it's easy to see, and of course it flips around so you can actually see yourself like that. Flips over, really, really handy, especially on a vlogging camera. You want to be able to see yourself like that. The camera itself, very, very light, very, very kind of compact, but it still feels quite nice in the hand, actually. It's still got a little bit of a grip on the front. It's pretty ergonomic as well, I found. I didn't find the buttons too small or anything like that. I have big fingers as well, and I didn't find the buttons to be a problem at any point. Sony have definitely nailed the size of this and the weight in terms of trying to create a vlogging camera like this, because it's just spot on for what you would want for that kind of thing. So ultimately, this camera's got to be one of the easiest vlogging cameras I've ever used. Heading out the door, nothing but the camera, and just shooting with it. It's so nice to just play with, to just vlog with, to walk around. You know, you've got the image stabilization, the eye autofocus, the auto exposure face priority if you want to use that as well, the ND filter to make it easier on a super bright sunny day like this. It's just really nice how much is included in this camera to make it easy to use. And it's perfect for someone upgrading from a smartphone, someone who wants to get into vlogging, doesn't know where to start, or YouTube or something like that. This is a perfect camera for that kind of person. This is absolutely ideal. But even for someone who actually already has a camera, this would make a great kind of B cam if you want to do vlogging with it. This is just easy. It's so small and lightweight. and just easy to take out with you. And really, that's the key point, I would say. It's just ease of use, quality of life changes. That's what made this camera stand out to me, and I'm really impressed. So I feel I should also mention this accessory that Sony sent along with the camera. Now, it kind of doubles up as a mini tripod, so it extends out like this. You can use it to hold while you're actually out vlogging, and it's got controls on it as well to start and stop recording, take a photo, zoom in and out, that kind of thing. Now, at first, this isn't normally a thing I would use. I would usually be happy. I've got a little Manfrotto Pixie, which I use as a mini tripod, and I also just use that to carry it around. But actually, this did grow on me a lot while I've been trying out this camera. It's very, very sturdy. The camera doesn't move at all as you walk around with it. It's very, very steady on there. And actually, the controls on there are super handy, especially while you're vlogging. Just being able to start and stop recording from just pressing it on the actual remote here is huge. Being able to take a photo, being able to zoom in and out, actually makes a massive difference. Not something I realized I would want as much to do, but certainly well recommended with this camera because it does just extend that kind of ease of use that you get while using this camera. Now, don't forget to do all the stuff that we all tell you to do at the end of videos, like liking, subscribing, hitting the bell if you want to. You know, that's absolutely fine with me. I will, of course, see you in the next video. And, as always, thanks for watching.